This is an article published by the Vera Institute of Justice titled Jail and Prison Populations Have Decreased Since 2019, but Continued Progress Isn't Promised. This article was published recently in November of 2024 this year, making it a current and relevant source for analyzing trends in criminal justice reform. This ensures that the data and insights are up to date for our group project. And the article's author, Elizabeth Allen, serves as an editorial assistant in Vera's Communications and External Affairs Department. She's committed to reshaping public perceptions of incarceration. A little bit more about the Vera Institute. They're a nonprofit organization dedicated to criminal justice reform. They were established in 1961 and are highly credible due to their extensive research, advocacy, and collaboration with policymakers and communities across the United States. This is their website. Here you can see they have no ads. They just included a few more of their own articles published in later dates, and their contact information and such. So I just wanted to start by scrolling to the section where Vera discusses the decrease in incarceration rates since the spread of COVID-19. So here the Vera Institute highlights how jail and prison populations have decreased nationwide since 2019. And this is significant because it sets the stage for our analysis of how local reforms in places like Santa Cruz might be contributing to or differing from these trends. And I also wanted to talk about this first graph, which just shows the decline in jail populations across the US from 2019 to the most recent data available. And you can see here that the incarceration rates significantly decreased during the early part of the COVID-19 pandemic, likely due to public health measures and reduced arrests. However, the data also indicates a slight rebound in recent months, and this is critical for our analysis because it helps us question whether places like Santa Cruz have maintained these reductions. And I also wanted to point out the section on barriers to sustained progress right over here. So here the Vera Institute highlights and emphasizes how, despite some progress, challenges such as inadequate funding, political pushback, and disparities in reforms remain. And this provides a different perspective for understanding why some areas might resist reform. Here they talk about some places and countries like Canada, France, and Italy. And I also wanted to talk about the second graph, which breaks down the number of people in local jails and state and federal prisons in 2022. Which the article also emphasized the prison population changes by state, showing that some states have seen steeper declines than others, and this uneven progress illustrates how state-level policies and funding directly influence incarceration trends. And I also wanted to talk about the last and final graph, which highlights disparities in jail population reductions factors based on factors like race, geographic location, and economic status. For instance, reductions in rural jails are smaller compared to urban areas. This insight is significant for our project because it shows that reform outcomes are not uniform and often leave marginalized communities behind. And I just think this article points out such important points, such as how much money is spent on maintaining criminal justice systems instead of investing in things like reform and rehabilitation, which is something Santa Cruz could learn from, like shifting their focus and funding toward more progressive programs like the ones we're proposing in our group's plan.